clock. I think it's 7:59, so we're just gonna get a little ready for the runway, right? The Monday runway, and I'm gonna start out with a little thing. You have to get into the runway. You have to start, right? Most of us are saying Mondays, man. I hate Mondays, and the answer is you got to start somewhere. That's what the runway is really about. This is going to be a free morning just get together. Whoever comes on, comes on. Whoever doesn't come on is also okay. You know, it's one of those things that I really want to kind of build out a little bit and kind of show people. So, but you have to explain to them. You know, we could say all the marketing we want. I'm tired of people with marketing, right? It really comes out to what is your story? How do you tell your story? Now, I also want to start off by saying, because I don't know how many people are going to listen to the whole thing. Earlier this weekend, I had made a comment. So part of that story is I've been talking for years about compilation books and things like that because it doesn't help your story. It tells your story. It gets your story out there. 100%. That it does. And I've done that. I've done compilations. I've been part of compilations. I love being part of communities, and I'm part of some great communities. But also, are we building a community or are we building our own things? And if you just want to tell your story, go ahead, man. Go wherever it matters. Go on the top of the roofs. Yell your story out. And that's what we're going to do is we're going to recognize what our stories are. That's what the runway is about, is to talk a little bit about our stories, recognizing the story, because we can't soar from a runway. You can't refuse to just stand on a runway. Pat yourself on the back. Get your participation trophies, your badges, your this, your that. I want you to have real traction. This is the runway where the things happen. That's why when I said Monday morning, we're going to start this, because Monday morning is really where everybody's like, oh, it's tough to get up Monday morning. It is if you say so. It's a mindset thing. So get up and get going. And that's what I want everybody to do. And we're going to talk about on this runway. We're going to talk about, exactly what you're going to do to soar, understanding your message. So, a lot of people go, oh, you got to hire me for that. Well, you can hire me, but that's not what this is about. I want to give information so people can make educated decisions. So again, going back to the compilation piece that a lot of people attacked me last week. I had gotten a lot of messages, and since my Saturday little post was all about, oh, you're attacking this one, you're attacking that one. I'm not attacking nobody. I talk to everybody, and I'll say exactly what I say behind the scenes to them, to their faces, because that's what I do. That's my integrity. That's my authenticity. I don't talk about somebody or go, oh, he's really just this, he's really just that. No, I don't know how my perception is received. That's a different story. But I will tell you, my integrity is unquestioned, because my integrity will make sure that we talk about at this runway, at this Monday runways, we're going to talk about what your real message is, not your personal story, but what the message is that you want to impact on others. Now, if you just want to tell your story and just keep telling your story, there's a power in that as well. That's okay. Be wherever you want to be to tell your story, but having the impact. So you're going to name some of the transformation. People don't just connect with information, they connect with transformation, right? A beautiful plane on a runway is still a beautiful plane. It's when it flies. It's when the birds soar. When I talk about the phoenix isn't great just because it's in ashes. It's great because it goes to fly again and discussing what shifted. And when you could do that, then you become more powerful and then there's more impact. That's what I want to talk about during the runway. And that's what this first episode, or whatever we're going to call it, is just talking about it and learning it. Now, I'd love to have people on and talk, and whoever's going to miss it, miss it. Whoever's going to do stuff, man, it's okay. But it's one of those things that I'm just going to make sure that I have all the opportunities to say what I need to say, that I've been saying for years, but I've been scared. I don't want to offend anybody in that, yeah, all these people who have compilation books. Look, I've been part of compilation books. I keep saying that. So it's not that I'm just, but what does it do for you? Whose message is it really pushing out? And that's what I really want to talk about is whose message are you trying to push out? just to be part of a party, man. I could be part of plenty of parties. It's not just being part of a party if you think you really want to have a legacy, an impact. It's not just a story about building somebody's restaurant and then going, yeah, I want to be at that restaurant, right? The cool place. We all want to be part of that cool people. And maybe I've never been one of those cool people. And maybe I'll never be one of those cool people. That's okay, because I understand my message. I know what my message is. My message is to be most authentic, to be those people that you need to be, to own your message. And I've been in the shadows, kind of little shade and everything on the compilation. And then last weekend, a lot of people who are in those shadows, all those people who might be those wolves in sheep's clothing. Oh, what do you think of this? What do you think about this? Hey, man, where I misspoke, I right away came up to it. That's part of my authenticity. I said people weren't leaders, and I was like, that was wrong. That was completely wrong of me. But I also won't then go, well, okay, then now everything that they do is right. No, everything I do isn't going to be right either. That's part of the runway. I want us to understand, have this safe zone to be like, hey, man, that was a crash landing. No, 100%. Can we now fix what we do? That's what the runway is when you take off. You don't always have everything perfect. Now, you want to be safe and everything like that, but because we're going to build frameworks, builds credibility. Because I'll definitely say somebody who stood up when they made a mistake, and right away, not when everybody else and the pressure starts getting to you. I'll stand by my words, and I'll stand by my mistakes, and I'll also stand by my corrections when there are corrections, because that's what credibility is. That's authenticity. It's a great framework, allows people to repeat your wisdom. A leader is not only a leader when you're in the room and the guy who's on stage, the guy who's doing whatever they want to do. The leader is also when you're outside the room. I think one of the comments I put on today was really about, the wolf is sometimes there for protection also, right? It's not always to go after sheep. Because anybody who knows me knows I'm not a sheep, and I'm definitely not a wolf either. Now, I've always said my lone wolf squadron, right? What have I said about that? Yeah, you can fly alone. And a lot of times I have flown alone. People have let me invest with people who aren't going to fulfill their commitments. Now, anybody knows who's worked with me knows that I overproduce, and that's what I want to do here. And that's why this Monday runway is going to be free. We're going to talk about branding. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of things. I'll help you write your framework here. I'll give you ideas and suggestions and teaching you how to do it, educating you on the things. You get to make your own choices. So just because Dave says or others say, oh, I hate those compilations, but I won't talk about it because too many people do it, I'm going to say it. Have your own book. I'm not going to pussyfoot and go, well, maybe do. Hey, you want to have a compilation? Then find out what your compilations are for. How is it helping you in real terms? On the front of that book, is it showing you as your face? Because I had somebody over the weekend was like, oh, but you don't mind those compilations for the comic book. Hey, I'll tell you why that works. Because that tells you, it highlights your business. And man, and I trusted Jose, and I still do trust Jose. So anybody who's going to, say that, as far as I know, I'm still working with Jose. And the truth of the matter is, they're all leaders who for that event. When I did make a comment, and I'm like, yeah, it's just an event. It's okay. It's not a big deal. You guys believe what you want. And I said something, and I said it, and I apologize it 100%. But I aligned my brand around things that, because a brand isn't a logo. It's not a color palette. It's not just, oh, you're a phoenix, you're this, you're that. You have to make sure your content matches your message. And at times I'm going to crash and burn. I'm going to be in my ashes. And then there's other times that I'm going to do a lot of other things that make sure that we align our brand, tell you the story that needs to happen. Because that's what it is. Visibility isn't always vanity. Too many people in our industry really talk about, perfection, which is an illusion. Or they wait. Well, visibility isn't vanity. And, there's a person who I know, Dr. Rob, who says, profit is sanity, right? Revenue is vanity and profit is sanity, right? It's about the things. Doesn't matter how much you make, how much revenue you bring in, how much profit. Are you a man of integrity who pays their bills, who does the things that they need to do? A woman, a person. It has nothing. This is, are you yielding visibility results through visibility? And the world, it doesn't hear a whisper from behind a closed door. All you people who reach out to me and be like, oh man, this one, that one, the other thing. What do you think? Sometimes I'll give you my opinion. And I want your opinions because I want to hear exactly where we're talking. I want to have some feedback. And, if not, this will crash and burn real quick and it'll be all right also because I tried, right? So we do the things that we want to do because the runway exists before the flight. Pilots don't start in the air, they start on a runway. Preparation matters, practice matters. And that's what I preach. Clarity matters. Every successful launch actually begins with a strong foundation. Now, I have a lot of foundations, but this Monday's runway is all about preparing you to soar. I want to teach you what you need to do. It's not about coming into a program, it's not being part of a community. You could be part of lots of communities. What does each community give you? What do they bring to you? And that's really what I'm here to talk about today, is really knowing your story, having the understanding of your message, to name your transformation. How do you want to do it? Everybody does it differently, right? Everybody wants to shake hands and be nice and go to all these parties. But how many people want to be at these parties and then have all those maybe hidden sheep who want to be wolves, who want to do some more? And I don't think a wolf is always a bad thing, right? I mean, I have a friend, Raul. You all know Raul, right? The wise wolf. He runs with a pack, right? Howls, and he's a great gentleman, but he's a great gentleman off the field also. He's the same person, and anybody who knows me, I'm the same person off this video than on the video. I want to align your brand. I want you to write your frameworks, and I want you to yield results. So that's really what the runway is going to be about. It's not going to be about all this other stuff. I don't want you to have compilation books just because you're out there and you're an Amazon #1 bestseller. That means, anybody who knows about the classification, it means just for a moment in time. That's like perfection. In a moment in time, you've done that. It is an accomplishment. I am not about to say it's not an accomplishment. All of these things are accomplishments. But how much of this do you really want to know is an accomplishment that you earned versus something that just by accident you were there? Right? One person once said to me about that quote about rising tide lifts all boats. Well, that's the moon who does it. And I thought about it. Yeah, there's always a different perspective to look at things. Stay positive, and that's really what I want to do today is just stay positive. I love everybody. I do support people. So anything that people think was a knock on anybody, that's not. If anything, I made sure that I knew that they led. And should they deserve, kudos for gathering? Yes, 100%. Because anytime you can gather with positive energy, that's a good thing. So it's not a bad thing to do it, but it's if you're feeding your ego, what are you really doing? Are you feeding your ego, or are you really trying to create something? Because that's what a real book does, is your own book creates so much more. And I'm not saying you have to do it with me. So yes, I can help people to do it. I write well. I push out books, which all you talk about support. Hey man, we support. I'd love to see any of those people who talk about support and where's the support. Because that's what started that conversation with Mike Duffy the other day. Was he was upset that all these leaders, all these people who are saying they're leaders, won't support him and his business, even though he supports them readily. And he kept on talking about it. And that's really what set me off. I was like, man, let's just talk about who you want to talk about, because he knew who he was talking about. And that's when I was like, no, man, just call it what it is. Let's be honest with each other. And I'd love those honest conversations. I want to hear what I do wrong because that's a way to improve. Now, if we're really pushing ourselves, that's where we start taking off. That's when we find what's in our heart so we can soar. Those are the messages that we're going to have at the runway. Now, I haven't seen anybody put any messages. Maybe it's some of my learning capabilities, but for sure, it's one of those things that I want to make sure that everybody knows that on the runway, we're going to talk about real leadership. We're going to talk about how you raise your speaking, what you do when you speak. You can't always have everybody like you. You know, as one of my mentors, Mike Faber, says, if everybody likes you, something is going on wrong. If you don't like me, it's okay, man. Get to know me before you can say that. You could make your judgments. You can make all those comments. You can think what you want to do. But really, let's look at the facts. And when you look at the facts are I care about everybody, and nobody prior to anything could ever question my heart. My heart is I do support my people. I love to hear your stories. I love to understand exactly what your message is. I want to name your transformation. I want to be able to then talk about transformation. I want to be able to write your own story. Have alignment with your brand. A brand is not all these people who go, I got to rebrand. I got to be this. I got to be that. Then why do you just be who you are? Come up with a brand. If the way that they're using the word brand is just a name, it's who you are and how you show up, and then yield results through visibility. I'll challenge everybody who's been in all those Amazon #1 bestseller compilation books. How much real visibility have you gotten out of that? And not, you could throw back, how much visibility have you got on your individual books? But but I'll tell you something more. So a part of my story is taking a stand. No matter what I do about my books, bestsellers or not bestsellers, they take a stand. Are you ready to take a stand? Are you ready to get off your runway? And if you are ready to get off your runway, I'd love to see you on these calls. We'll do some education, some learning, and some fun. And maybe some crash landings. And we'll learn from those things also, because that's how we improve. I hope you have a great Monday. Start your Monday. Love to talk to everybody. And anybody who wants to talk to me, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. And I also am sending out love to everybody. That's unconditional love. It's not if you like me, I love you. If you pay me, I love you. Nah, I'm not that type of leader. I'm the leader who stands there no matter what. I'll call it what it is, and I'll call my own crap also. God bless.